Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So about 24 hours ago, I talked about how we had a pretty big gap up to ignite us out of this wedge type pattern, that if the market's going to be fast, we hold that gap. We could trade versus that gap. If we get above yesterday's high, we can continue faster than if we just chopped around. And today you got your second day. Pretty big day across the board. Lots of key stocks out of the go-to names all made new 52-week highs. Lots of things have extended that we've been talking about for the past few months. Lots of names from the Redler report have already met their expectations, and it's only, we're in April, and the whole year's still in front of us. So, any which way you slice it, you've done okay as long as you execute on your process. If you just want to short this market and you want to listen to the headlines and you're probably not even watching the show, you're just tuning in the first time and you're like, holy cow, I can't believe there is a community that plays by the rules and uses technicals and chart patterns and uses a system to be involved when things are healthier than others, except whatever it is. So anyway, let's just get right to the chart. Here is the S&P. This is your descending trend line that we gapped above yesterday. We talked about getting long the spiders into this versus that low. Okay, this was 23.69. Okay, let's take a closer look. Basically you had a nice, if you didn't take risk into the French elections, it's fine. Okay, you could have been down 30 handles, who knows. So into this move, if you look at the chart on Twitter yesterday, I said as long as we stay above 23.69 to 23.62, you try and be long. Well, today you had another 20 handles or so up to 23.92. And then here is your all-time highs. I'd love to see, an inside day or so. We might not. I did sell my spiders today just because of the size of the move. I'm hoping to be cute and buying back a little bit less. Usually gaps get filled. I don't think this one will be, but maybe, at some point this one is. But we shall see. You have 23.81, 9 handles above. So anyway, last time we broke above 2,300, we went for multiple days. Last time we saw, we broke above this descending trend line. Okay, we had a big rally once we consolidated a little bit, and here we are. So I'm not saying short this market, but you could use a tier system to hold things, based on your own risk tolerance. So, either way, nice move, even if you didn't come home long. And at this point, guys are asking me to go through a few of the key names. So, recently we've been very involved in Bob. I don't own it this second. Why am I involved with Baba? Because Baba has been one of the strongest names on the board. Okay, Baba gapped up after last quarter's earnings, and then been following the 21 day all the way up to as high as, what was this today? 115.82, which we did talk about not chasing today. Because why? It's extended from the 8 day. Doesn't mean it's a short, but it means you could waste, give it a little bit more time. I do think it gets above 120 plus. So maybe tomorrow you get it down open, we could buy it. And if you're still sitting long it, saying I'm going to get it, it's going to go above 120. Red Dog says it's going to be at all-time highs at some point this year. That's the way you could do it too. Last week we started talking about Baidu. That I saw all the news talking about autonomous vehicles, about AI. I said if it wakes up above the 50-day, you can get long. Some of you guys did that. If that's you, congratulations. Then it held again, and then look at the size of this move. Okay. I also showed you guys the weekly chart. The weekly chart is something bigger, more exciting. Why is it bigger and more exciting? Because it's done a whole hell of nothing since 2015. I do this segment with my friend from Wall Street Media. I like to go over the Chinese names for them because they like to buy them, at least names they know. And here on the weekly chart, it just triggered above it besides the daily chart. Some of you bought like 6-month call options out, et cetera, et cetera. Well, anyway, it looks like it still has a lot of room. So don't be shorting this. Look to stay with it if you trade it actively. And maybe you bought some calls down here and, you took some off, and then I would hold some. This easily could be 220, with the first stop here at some particular point. Also, you guys were in JD from this point right here. What a move. Hopefully you guys, saw this wedge type pattern. We love descending trend lines because once they clear it and hold it, you get another move. And at this point, there's been lots of trades along the way for this JD. And, so I just wanted to touch on a few of those because those were in my swing trading notes and my report. And we've gone over them here too, a while back. As far as some of the go-to names also, the high beta tech names, Google woke up last week. Went back above the 8 and 21 day. When did it do that? Right here. Okay, see, that's your 8 and 21 day. It ignited above it, held above it, and then actually took out the highs of the recent move. And if you stayed longer, congratulations, you made some good money. We also mentioned about taking some calls from, I think somewhere we were around here. Actually, where were we when we took those calls? Anyway, if you're still in them, you have probably a double or so. Earnings are Thursday. They're taking a little bit of this move away prior to earnings. So if you caught it, congratulations. I would be careful paying for premium after a big move, but we shall see. Facebook also gave you a nice pre-earnings move. Woke up here. What did it do here? Red Dog says when it takes back the 8 and 21 day, you can get back long if you got back long, and then held here. Really nice move. It is extended now from the 8 day and the 21 day, so hard to just initiate here, but doesn't mean it's a short. Strong stocks, typically have to be above the 8 and 21 day moving average before they can make new highs, and this was your wake-up call right there, and boom. Today in the morning call, we talked about, think about it, what did Red Dog say in the morning call? He said, if you come back to me, Netflix. Why did I say Netflix? Because Netflix made a deal with Baidu. Why did that have importance? Because now they can go into China. So he said maybe this could wake them up. Use that pivot, as your line in the sand. 148.20. Some people have been shorting strength. I was like, be careful of this time. I even said it on the VTF this morning. Someone's like, I'm shorting Netflix here. It was like 147. I was like, just use 148.22 as your out. And wow, what a move. It's been in the channel for 4 or 5 months. Okay, it failed on earnings, okay, right here, okay, and then came back to the bottom end of the channel, held it, okay, and then you didn't even have to buy it there. You could have waited for it to clear and hold above this, and 152.30, that's a nice trade, okay, for a lot of you guys. There was a lot of volume there too, and it just got above this, so keep this on the radar. I would not be shorting the first day out of a major channel that it's been in since February. Doesn't mean tomorrow it's going to gap up $4, but it means it's more of a long than a short, especially why? Oh, looky, buck above the 8 and 21 day moving average. We don't short those things. Maybe you do a cute intraday short versus a level, but that's it. One stock that has been a little bit more frustrating, but might, I guess, be good after earnings is Amazon. Why has it been frustrating? Because for 2 straight days, it did a whole lot of nothing. Okay, took up actually a lot of my time. Here's this nice tight pattern though. I did buy 950 calls for a lottery ticket. I feel like, if they report a great report, we might be able to play it after hours if it were to clear this spot. Maybe tomorrow we get a trade above this prior to earnings on Thursday. It's very tight, so this would be one pivot about 910, and then this would be your momentum pivot at 923. But just in case it does it in a way where we can't buy it, I'm like, let me be in some calls because, my gut tells me at some point this year, I think that they do a stock split. Maybe now that Jeff wants to sell 1 billion shares every year, he might need to split it to get liquidity. If they happen to announce a split, I want to just be there for what could be 100 points to the upside. So I bought some 950s, and unless they announce a huge split or whatever, they're going to be worthless. But I think it's worth having just in case it's not conducive to trade tomorrow or the day of earnings or after the earnings print, which would be right here. And if they missed, it's going to be down there. And that's what happened the last time. It missed, okay, and what did it do? It went to, which was it? Oh, here. It missed and then forgave it and all of a sudden broke out there. So if it misses, there'll be 0. It won't break above this, and we'll probably be looking to be a buyer here lower. But at this point, we shall see. It's very tight. Maybe tomorrow we get some kind of trade. So after a big move like we've seen, people on the VTF are laughing at me because I have a lot of, not the most quality names that I've been trading all year, but some that I think could play a little catch up the next day or so if the markets want to digest the major gains we've had for 2 days. So one of them is ACIA. ACIA does not look good whatsoever. It's been absolutely annihilated. Remember the big move we caught last year here? Okay, it's below all the moving averages, but for some reason, I'm kind of thinking that it could lift into earnings and maybe see a little bit of a higher prices. A little bit of a reversal today, so maybe it wants to see the 50-day. What brought it to my attention, because everyone's like, why are you in that thing? I did see you had a nice little igniting move here, okay, just on the intraday, boom. So in this area, I started buying it. I added to it, so I have some overnight. Just a trade. FireEye, got back in it. I was looking at it a while ago when Goldman Sachs put it's what's it called? It upgraded it. Still kind of dead as far as stock's concerned, but it's kind of brushing up against here. It's a buck above the 8 and 21 day. Kind of thought maybe it can get up to the 200-day. I thought the sector is the right place to be, but it's obviously hasn't been. So maybe it's worth something. It shouldn't be the only thing you're trading. If you have one stock to trade, it's not FireEye. If you're holding 5, 6, 7, 8 longs, maybe it can make you some cash flow all the way on the way up. Same thing on the end of the day. I just threw some plug on. Why did I throw some plug on? You know what? Had a gap up on that Amazon news. Never filled it. So the longs were strong enough to keep it up there. It poked its head above this. So I figured, I'm just going to have something on there. But it doesn't mean you have to. But people ask me, why would you do that? Well, igniting bar or igniting gap, and then it held, and now it looks like it might go again. So that's why I did that. Also, everyone's like, Red Dog, energies, a broken sector. Why did you buy the XLE midday or oil? You know what? The USO did a Red Dog reversal. What's a Red Dog reversal? We all know that. That's when it came from all the way up here, went below a prior low, came back above it, actually showed a little bit of power by coming above the prior high. So I figured, hey, maybe we get a trade in oil back up to here. I actually bought the UWT, which gives me a little bit more juice because you can't really make money with the USO. So here was that entry area, took this out. So maybe, maybe there's a move up to here. That wouldn't be a blockbuster move, but we didn't get caught up here on the retest of this spot. So maybe there's a little bit of a trade there. XLE also closed kind of near the highs of the day. So I figured, who knows, this thing's been battered and bruised. Maybe people need something to do. So, bought a little bit, and who knows, maybe it tries to go up 50 cents. But, again, these aren't swing trade, huge blockbuster extravaganza scenarios to new highs. These are just trying to look for setups that make sense, that I've played before, that I can maneuver some super active to make some cash flow as this rally maybe extends or maybe takes a day off tomorrow. So that's that. Real quickly, Apple, because a lot of you guys got back involved when it took back to 21-day, if that was you right here. Okay, it's right back to the highs. Maybe you get a pause here. All in all, I do remember when we tried to short Apple for one time, and thank goodness we got away from it. That was right here. Remember that day? I was like, oh, look at that. That was, the market looked horrible back below the 21-day, got short. Covered it on this day because it took back the prior high, got back above it, and if that was you too, hopefully you were done with it and flipped, and here you are back to highs. If you've been in it, since the gap up after last quarter, or you've been in it since the start of the year on the Red Dog reversal when we talked about getting to 144, here it is back at 144 and change, and it looks like, who knows, maybe it's consolidating long enough that it'll break this and continue higher, but we shall see. With all that said, lots of things to do, even if you did not take risk into the weekend. Okay, a lot of traders don't do that because we could have been down 30 handles and we were only 2% or so off the highs, and who knows. So if you came in yesterday and you weren't frustrated, you said, hey, I know we're up 25 handles, but we could still make money. How are we going to make money? We're going to buy versus the morning low, and as long as we trade above it, we could stay with it, and then we'll look for other vehicles to make money with. You could have done pretty well from yesterday into today. Now, it's a little bit tougher. Before I leave again, just because a lot of guys are trading the IWM, little topping tail into here. So maybe tomorrow it opens down a little bit and you can make it buyable. I'm still in Bank of America, but I'm very small. I had a lot on yesterday. Why am I smaller? Just because it did a little bit of a topping tail into here. So I figured maybe I could be cute, sell some, buy some back. This was where it was a decent buy, and this was the spot that if you were long, you didn't sell because it never broke below 22. So lots of things going on. From here to there, maybe it comes in and you could buy it back, but hopefully you just weren't shorting it. And if I, apologize for not being, balls across the board, bullish here. I didn't know if this would break. It didn't break, so, you could buy it there. No big deal, okay? Anyway, little topping tail. We'll see what happens here tomorrow, and we'll see if the oscillator that went out like plus 55 needs to work that off a little bit or not. Have a great night. I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one.